Hey, welcome back to the podcast. This is JR.
My name's Leon, and
This is Social Ledger Report. We're working on a new introduction.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. We're gonna get this down one of these times.
We will. I think what we've been working on the last year, it's kind of long and, keep people on hold. But we'll figure it out. If you guys have any suggestions, please let us know. We're getting better at this.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. It's the 10,000 reps. I went on a
10,000 reps.
podcast yesterday, mainly
Really?
to talk. Yeah, mutual friend Christy went on the podcast, talked about like building companies and what it takes to do everything. And I was talking about the 10,000 reps is like the most important thing. 10,000 hours, whatever, however you phrase it. But that was like a super deep conversation because I'm finding everybody loves my metaphor of sports is my sport is business because I'm obsessed with it. Like I'm obsessed with, earning reports, like the small parts of every business, the mechanics, the profit and loss, like I sit in a restaurant and I'm like, man, this restaurant's doing really good. That's like 27 people. If they do that every hour, they're probably making this much money. I'm like, what's the margin on the coffee cups? I'm like, oh, this is probably a $4 or $5 margin cup, but then with employees, $1. So I really am obsessed with like business, and the same thing with crypto. Like I like obsess over everything.
Not to interrupt your, I really, yeah. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Your soliloquy. Sorry, it's what I was going to say. Not to interrupt you because I think you spoke a lot of wisdom there. But what I just want to know is, does crypto and business overlap to some capacity? Do you think?
I think more and more it does. Like I think the interest of crypto is because it's finance in the end. And
yes,
that really fascinates me, the economics and like finance world. Like I'm not actively day trading, but I think the best way to build wealth is, investing in any number of things, and just like, early Bitcoin investor, like,
yeah,
I will take heavy risk on like new technologies. Like I'm an early adopter. Like I'm on Claudebot. I bought a Tesla as soon as I could buy a Tesla. I had FSD, even though the worry of the family was there. I wanted to ride in Waymos when everybody else was like, oh no, this is fucking terrifying. So I'm definitely an early adopter. And I think the business part is not totally that, but the obsession is also like new tech and just kind of like, I want to tell my grandkids, like I was in a Waymo self-driving car before, any of you guys were even born.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I want to look cool to my grandkids.
And who knows, maybe we'll have flying Waymos by then. So that'd be fun. I was in the very few first land Waymos before y'all were born. That'd be a cool story.
Yeah, exactly. And like the early Waymos were different cars. Like I saw them in Phoenix. Like it's very fascinating. Like I just want to be that early tech adopter. Like I bought a Zune back in the day. I was being contrarian. I didn't want an iPod. My dad, had gateway PCs. My mom had like those brick phones in the 90s, like real.
Oh
like,
God.
It was like literally a fucking brick. Yeah.
My grandpa had one as well. Or my grandma.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I got the trade of all of that. And I think that bleeds into crypto. I think crypto is going to be a fundamental change. And it also highlights the fact that everything's made up. Like all money is relative to whatever value we place on junk,
Not all junk though. Meme coins and shit coins that would probably be my only pushback, but generally I actually do agree with you.
Yes.
I don't know. Crypto just really fascinates me. I could be doing anything else. There's a lot of things I could be doing right now, but I'm always so drawn into crypto. I think it's just, there's so much potential there.
And
more than AI.
I love that it's going. The AI is cool. Like I love Claude and everything, but I think the AI poses a lot more risks to society and what's happening. Whereas crypto, does pose some economic risk for, every government in the world as a whole. But I think crypto is just going to revolutionize the financial system. It's slowly doing that. Like, we're starting to see people understand crypto. And it was also like, there's only so many times in our lifetimes that we'll make lots of money and have an opportunity. The .com boom was one. The crypto was one, and everybody could, actually jump in on it. Now what's your risk tolerance? And also, I hear it all the time. I bought Bitcoin in 2014 and then I sold it in 2015. And I'm like,
oh God,
you like, just like most Americans, they don't have the discipline to save. They don't have the discipline to invest for the long term. That's why most people get tax returns. That's their built-in, U.S. government savings account. Like, there's just not enough discipline in that space. But, if I want to do a clever transition, like, crypto is becoming mainstream. The Super Bowl was AI, crypto, and a little bit of like other technology, like the internet, like the Jurassic Park ad and stuff. But I think the ads everybody were really talking about was crypto first and foremost, and then AI. But the AI was conversation was different. Yes.
You know what's funny? I've seen the Super Bowl ever since I was a kid, every year. And in 2022, we actually had the most crypto ads ever. And, this was before FTX. That was the same year that FTX collapsed, but they have their own ad. A lot of people forget that. And also now,
really, they have their own ad. I didn't in 2022. I'm not a Super Bowl watcher like as avid. Also, my memory of last year's Super Bowl is that of like a goldfish. I'm like, I don't remember who played. I don't remember who was the halftime show. I don't even remember the ads. But I was shocked that FTX like did that, but also FTX SBF also invested in Claude. And like, I saw his investment list and I was like, dude would have been the richest guy in the world, but also what a fucking idiot for scamming everybody.
I think he would have been the second richest person in the world, right below Elon Musk. Elon Musk just has an obscene amount of wealth. Like, he's the first trillionaire, and I forget who's the second person. I think it might be like Larry from Oracle, and I don't know. I don't keep track on that leaderboard. But yeah, talking about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about that, because I think it's a very controversial thing. And also, I made a post on Twitter and on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, it actually blew up, to my surprise, because you don't really hear people talking about crypto on LinkedIn. You mostly see schmucks talking about business, that they generated something out of AI. Like, hey, make me sound smart here.
And small like tidbit is creators have realized LinkedIn is a spot like for everything. Like, LinkedIn has quickly like turned into the creator spot. I see consistent posting from like all of those Twitter creators that are actually, business gurus out there. They're like, hey, I get 10,000 views on X, but I get 100,000 on LinkedIn, and I got this many more reach. I think the feed on X is really interesting, but the LinkedIn feed is so curated. It's professionals. It's you get rid of all the riffraff too. Like, it just in general, you don't get the people shit posting as much. You just get people actually doing like cool kind of content. And there's the cringy stuff of like what proposing to my girlfriend taught me, but
yes,
it is a different, and it feels like a different spot. Also, fucking LinkedIn is expensive. I pay like $106 a month for fucking the gold thing, whereas X is like $300-400 a year. It's a different type of platform, and most people probably expense their stuff out there and do it. We run our businesses, or whatever job we have is paying for those things. But yeah, I think it's changed it.
Are we calling X Twitter? Anyways, Twitter, it just has more consumer adoption than LinkedIn. Like, I know more people who just have a LinkedIn because, I don't know, in college they were made to open one and then they just never used it again. Maybe they have their first job. Like, some of my friends still have their, like, a photo that's 10 years old. and they're on their 30s now. So it's kind of crazy.
Yes, Super Bowl on task. Like, we'll stay. I'm actually looking for the Super Bowl commercial.
Way ahead of you.
Okay,
so cool. Here's my screen.
Pull it up.
So everyone saw it. I was in a room full of like 10 people when I saw this for the first time. And what I want to read about this post is people have mixed feelings. And I wrote, and I'll share screen my post in a moment, but the hate that Coinbase got at the Super Bowl ad is hilarious. Some people say it was good, others think it's bad. The CEO posted earlier this week that he was actually proud of the ad, but yet these people may not be so happy. So I'm going to cut the audio real quick because they're actually singing. And
I want the audio.
Okay. There we go.
It's better with audio.
That's true. Okay, yeah. Wait for this. I mean, everyone. There we go. That's crazy.
I'm not too surprised. I think there is a stereotype, and I unfortunately think both of us fit into it. It's crypto bro.
We are such crypto bros.
Yeah, it's
for
like,
better or for worse.
It drives a Tesla. I wear crypto merch. I'm actually wearing a Pebble, an ink, t-shirt, but also there's just a
Jordan.
persona working out. Yeah, it's working out. There's just like a very particular persona. We do Twitter, we do really fit into it. I don't really listen to Rogan, but I do like Rogan's show. So there's a persona that is tied to crypto, and I think that is what a lot of people do. And also I think that there's a very liberal tinge to people that often say that crypto is a big scam. Like I see that a lot. Like,
man, even in this day and age,
flipped it. Yeah, Democrats have flipped to not liking crypto. We're supposed to have the Clarity Act by now. We're supposed to have, just a lot further adoption, and it is really shifted because the Democrats are kind of saying like, "Hey, is this the right thing?" And then I think the liberal base has also gone to say, "Hey, is stablecoins the right thing? Should we privatize it?" Because, you have Eric Trump and Donald Trump really pushing into crypto. So I think there is a little political tinge to all of it that is coloring it incorrectly. I don't think it should be a political thing.
So, here is my post on LinkedIn. I posted it 3 days ago. It actually got 12,000 impressions and 18 engagements. On X, I got about 1,200 impressions. So about a 10.
That is exactly what everyone talks about with LinkedIn. They're like, "Hey, LinkedIn, I'm killing it for like that, but my same post on X just
that's died." Crazy. I would not expect that from crypto Twitter. Like, that's what crypto is known about, to be on Twitter. But I'm not going to read my entire post. You can read it if you'd like. But my take from that Super Bowl ad is people are talking about it. And I think that's what Coinbase wants. And I think as a business, you'd want people to talk about your business. So from that perspective, Coinbase won. And, whether people say, "Oh, crypto sucks, crypto's a scam," you name it, people are still buying Bitcoin. I swear to God, man, I will die on this hill. When the market sentiment is down, people will sell their Bitcoin. They think like, I don't want to say sheep, but it's like a herd mentality. When the market is down, people will sell their Bitcoin. And then when the market is up, people will buy their Bitcoin. They're so contrarian to how to actually make money. It's absolutely insane.
It's what we're trying to solve with MintLocke. Small plug here, but it's
small plug.
Most people
Shameless.
are vibing. Like
vibe trading, vibe investing.
Economics. It's just like why shopping happens is, they want to feel good. They go to Target and all of a sudden you have a $150 cart and it's a dopamine rush. The same thing happens on Bitcoin. And the reason that I always hear it is, "Oh, I bought it in 2014, or 2015 and it was there and I sold it a year later." Or they buy it at the peak because they refinanced their house because the hype was there and everybody was going for it. But, that was $60K. They sold it because it dropped to 40. then when it hits 100, they're buying it again. So it is what we're trying to address with MintLocke is, you need kind of like a just like an investment account, like a Roth. You need somewhere to put the money in, let it sit, don't touch it, and the investment strategy just go. So that's why we're building everything, because of emotions drive most humans, us included.
You mentioned Roth, and I really like that. I would also compare it to a 401k, except there are tax savings or tax advantages by putting your money there. We won't offer that because, I mean, we're just two people making a business, trying to make it go somewhere, but also trying to help people. I do think, however, there's a good likelihood that as legislation develops in the next few years, that could be an opportunity. We might even be subjugated to some financial jurisdiction, like comply with the SEC or FinCEN, you name it. So I mean, anything can happen. But the goal is in MintLocke, again, a lot of people just vibe invest. People are just, buying at the wrong time, and they get so emotional at the end of the day. What if we can just put your money somewhere, give you updates as an agent is moving that money for you, kind of like a hedge fund manager, but it's AI. I think that'd be the way moving forward.
Yeah, and it all the frameworks there, kind of related to Coinbase is just beyond their sentiment and everything in the ad is their earning report came out, and the earning reports showed growth in a lot of areas, but they also met they didn't meet the EPS, the earnings per share. They lost I think it was like $2.49 a share when they were expected to earn 96 cents a share. And the one thing that kind of came out of that is their business lines were 11 items, and a lot of their business line is now infrastructure. It is like AI agents or AI wallet connections. It is, on-ramping, off-ramping. There is so many little things that are in there that are infrastructure for businesses like us, but also for large-scale businesses all over the world. So I think Coinbase is realizing that, the retail side is important, and that they're, on-ramping millions of people, but they're also doing this. This tweet is insane to me, because
I love this tweet, bro. It's got, oh my God, it's almost got 4 million views. When I first saw it, it was like 2.
Yeah.
And it's only been 2 days.
I like it to some regard, but also the other part of me is just like, bro, you like, you're just memeing a little too hard. I was just kind of like, okay, this was a little too much at the moment, but it does make fun of, the Twitter, it makes fun of the TikTok, where people won't watch a full fucking TV show, but you put the running jetpack guy on top and they'll watch the whole show no matter what. And I'm like, God damn it.
I want to run a quick social experiment with you and our audience. I want to play a minute of this. You can always watch the full thing on Twitter. We'll add the link on the show notes. But let's see if you can actually pay attention, or if you'll retain attention as we watch it.
Reported numbers for Q4 2025. Coinbase is building better financial services for the world, powered by crypto. And our thesis is actually very simple. Crypto is updating the multi-trillion-dollar financial services industry, and Coinbase is the company best positioned to capitalize on this transformation. I want to show you a few highlights and charts from our recent shareholder letter which drive this point home. So first, because Coinbase is the most trusted brand in crypto, we store more crypto than any other company. Assets on platform is how we track this, and it's grown about 3x over the last 3 years. We now store about 12% of all crypto in the world, more than the next 4 competitors combined. And you can see even in Q4, although crypto prices came down, which showed this number lowering, the overall trend is very clear. And this is a big part of what makes our business defensible, since people are most likely to use the financial products where their assets reside. Okay, next up, our crypto trading volume market share doubled in 2025. When people store their assets with us, one of the major activities they do is trading.
Okay, that was a minute. I honestly was about to I almost forgot to check if it was a minute long.
I have a little. So
wait,
if it was a
let me ask you real quick. Were you actually able to focus and listen to that? I'm sure you've seen it before, but
yeah, I've seen it before. the first time I saw it, I had a hard time totally focusing on what he was saying. Like this is like deep information. So like it's just like TV. There's a TV shows that you watch them and they describe the whole like scene. They're describing it, but then there's like things like pluribus that if you do not pay attention, you miss key parts of the show. So like if you're on your phone, you just miss key parts of like, oh, hey, there's a little thing in the background. Just like Super Bowl ads had like hidden things. If you were on your phone, you didn't see it.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, and I get that they're memeing this and it's kind of a fun thing. For me, I was like, let me go find his actual video so that I can go like retain this because I need to actually pay attention because it's just it's dense information. But that was my only like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? And I think I even tweeted that.
Okay. I thought it was genius. I'm like, what a fucking legend, dude. This guy, so apparently it wasn't Brian Armstrong's idea. It was his like press or marketing team. I'm not entirely sure. Twitter team.
Amazing, like fun thing. I think very cool for majority of people. And I think it started a conversation and put his video to a much, much wider audience than it would have normally done. And from a defensibility part of like, hey, this is like why Coinbase is such a valuable company and you should invest in it and buy it for like the Wall Street bet people. I bet you this is going to be like, hey, let's support this company more. But just from me like consuming the content, I was like, oh my gosh, let me go watch this for what it is so that I could understand it.
That's a good point. Personally, I will admit I was very engaged because of the stupid Subway Surfer segment. I don't know. Maybe I've just brain rot has consumed my brain. But one thing I want to highlight about this subject, this guy, Matthew Kobach, I don't know who he is, but cool name, I guess. When he first worked at the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, so that's good to know. Part of his job was to convince public companies to post their earning calls on social media, which was pretty controversial in the mid-2010s. Apparently, even he couldn't predict this.
No, I think it's a super clever for 90% of people. Like I think most people think earning reports are very boring, but I go and like I watch that because I was like, hey, that is a signal to what is happening. I go look at the stock price after, like to some regard, he posted this and his stock price was down even further. His stock price is down from IPO, which was at 250. I think their stock price sits around. Let's go look it up. Let me look up the coin real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see what it is. It's like 150, I think it is. I'm gonna have to go to Google.
Well,
hold on.
While we're on the subject, though, crypto is down for several reasons. Apparently, this started. It's so interesting because crypto market and the stock market are becoming more parallel. Before you would see crypto market going exponential where the stock market was crashing and vice versa. But now it's actually kind of on the same path where if one thing crashes, the other thing crashes as well. But I think
and I think that's the ETF inflows, outflows. You've got, perpetuals
that's a good point.
And calls and puts and all of that. Like he for a little while there, they were super down. But like if you look at this at a 1 year pace, like, even a 5 year, all time, like it's they opened at 250, I think, 381. And, like they're essentially down, like they've peaked a few times and those are when the bull markets are, happening. But
that's a good point.
Coin has had a lot of ties to the retail side, and that infrastructure side is really important. And I think he highlighted that on the earnings report because I think what is happening is everybody's signaling that retail buying of crypto is not really the path anymore. Like it's going to get distributed to all the places. And I think, like we want to touch on this right now is like the Cash App. Like Cash App is now letting for no fee Bitcoin buys, and even on $2,000 or more Bitcoin buys, they're saying no fees or anything. They're adding more liquidity to the network so that you can cash out faster. And every Bitcoin, if you buy one Bitcoin, Cash App buys and holds it there. So it's not a perfect, like you hold it in your individualized wallet. It is like a central exchange essentially, but you don't physically hold that Bitcoin. It's more of, there, but they're collateralizing it with the buys at the same time. So they're doing the right thing, and Block is providing that out there.
So you were talking about Cash App, and one thing I went to their website and I looked at their just Bitcoin, whatever I could find on Google. And apparently, as of February 9th, is this the same update that we're talking about?
Yeah, essentially February 9th, 10th, it was a Cash App Investor Day or whatever.
Okay, so we're lowering fees with clearer pricing for buys over 2,000. We're removing fees and spreads entirely. That's actually kind of big, because spreads is how these, I wouldn't say exchanges, or Bitcoin providers as a whole. It's
just like ATMs. Anybody who's selling them has a spread. It's just like if you go to the airport in Japan and you need to get yen from the US dollars, there's a spread on what the actual conversion rate is to what you're actually paying. Same thing on most of these exchanges. There's a spread. Yeah,
totally. That means these people are not making money, which is really interesting. They probably want to get a sizable, part of the market by offering Bitcoin. We're increasing Bitcoin withdrawal limits by 5x for eligible customers. We're expanding funding rails to support larger, more reliable purchases, and we're improving how Bitcoin works across the app end to end. So that's pretty interesting. I'm not going to read through everything, but we'll leave this link in the show notes as well.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. So, let me share their tweets, because I think these are really interesting. Cash App is built for living on Bitcoin. So Jack Dorsey, who owns Cash App, which is actually a company called Block.
I didn't know that.
So
I didn't know he owned Cash App.
Yes.
Was it an M&A? Real quick, sorry.
I don't know. Cash App.
Damn, I'm actually kind of mind blown at how this guy
founded by him in 2013. It was
insane.
Square back then, and it's now Block. But
I mean that I know. Sorry, I know he owns Block, but Cash App is
that Cash App is Block. That's literally what Block is Cash App.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
I didn't know that.
Jack is super there. He's got this decentralized Bitcoin communication app thing, everything he's pushing for out there. But this is Cash App is built for living on Bitcoin. I think that's a huge thing. And this is the part, and I touched on this before we were talking, just show notes, is the more that an app looks not like crypto and acts just like a regular, technology, the more that people adopt it. I think there's more people probably buying Bitcoin today on Cash App because they don't have to have a wallet. They don't have to onboard. They just do all the normal stuff. And then they start buying it because they're like, oh my gosh, it's here. And then as a result, businesses get Bitcoin because people are spending in Bitcoin. This is exactly what DeFi and everybody's talking about. Phantom Wallet wants to be Cash App. They have the pay thing. They have all that. It's obviously not live, but they want to be Cash App, and Cash App is beating everybody to this punch because they're just doing that. Now they're 100% on Bitcoin, more or less, but this is huge for it. They put a bunch of things in here, how it's matured, how these, work. And then they're even putting information of they're on the Lightning Network. There's, a few things that are just not allowed in certain states and stuff, but essentially Bitcoin is a core thesis to what Cash App is doing. They rolled out also, credit scores for short-term loans from Affirm. There's some rumors that, essentially all of that will be later to do lending, even with Bitcoin, and collateralize it, just like what they're doing. And Affirm is, obviously owned by them. So there's there's some really cool stuff happening, but the Bitcoin Lightning Network lets them scale to enterprise. It also lets them do a lot more at faster speeds at merchants that are using, what is Square, terminals and stuff out there.
So interesting. Yeah, I've seen the Square terminals. Like a lot of small businesses own it. So shit, it'd be cool if I could pay for groceries at a block terminal with Bitcoin or stable coins, because I kind of don't want to sell my Bitcoin, but that'd be cool. That'd be a good future, I think.
I think there's a lot of things moving on chain. Like,
yes,
there's a ton of things moving on chain. We still don't have the Clarity Act. The market is substantially down. And I always look over here because I have that Bitcoin chart. Like, we're sitting at around $60,000, $65,000 per Bitcoin. The market is the lowest that the fear index has ever been, I think, since kind of the early days of crypto. It's sitting around 4 or 5 for the fear index. And really, more than anything, is if the economy feels good, the economy feels good. Essentially, if it feels good, everyone believes it's good. If everyone feels that it's bad, like everyone feels the economy is bad, even though in many mechanics the economy is good, the economy is bad. Like this is the problem. It's always about sentiment more than anything else. Perception is reality, not always reality. So that, I think, is influencing a lot of stuff, because the positives are, Coinbase, even though they're struggling some part on earnings per share and, a few things that they're dealing with because of retail side,
right?
They're pushing forward. They're in the S&P 500. They're the Clarity Act is kind of being addressed. The big problem is around banks and essentially, depository flight is a real risk with stable coins. Everything though is like stacking up to make crypto look really good. I think this is a moment in time that everyone's fearful. Just, there's a lot of sentiment on what's happening in the world: Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, China, and also, grocery prices are still expensive. And again, people feel the economy is bad, and then as a result do that. And then but you have Bitcoin Investor Week going on. ETH Denver is coming up. I think there's a lot of positives that are happening. Yeah. Like I would, I don't want to place a bet or influence anybody to invest. I think right now is a really great time to invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe not Ethereum, that stuff never moves, but in Bitcoin and these other coins that are becoming the rails of the internet: XRP, Chainlink, even Monad, and some of these other ones that are really pushing forward. It's just sentiment is sitting in a weird spot. And I mean, every single company is adopting Bitcoin. Like, I just got that Robinhood gold card.
There you go.
Like, I love it, but Robinhood's talking about prediction markets. They're talking about crypto more. Like, everybody's like, hey, crypto's a core part. Crypto's a core part of finance. Just like AI is a core part of any fucking B2B tech app right now.
One thing I will say, though, is prediction markets have become so abrasive. I don't like how they're everywhere. They're kind of fun in their nature. I was using prediction markets on Coinbase on the day of the Super Bowl, but big shout out to Polymarket, because that's the first signal that we got where DeFi is really going. Yeah. It's under the hood. It's not so much here's how crypto is. Put your wallet address, send it to the right person. These are the gas fees. People don't care about that. They care about, how can I use this tool that improves money by making it faster and more accessible on my day-to-day. And Polymarket was probably the best use case in recent history. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for that.
I would argue, though, that Cash App is the best example right now of making things faster and more efficient, like with low fees.
That's a good point.
Because real people are touching it. Polymarket, again, it's still betting. You can do stable coin rails. You can get money there. And like the whole system is on the blockchain, the ledger out there. But essentially, I think Cash App is like the best delineation of like, hey, you're using crypto, but also you're in an app that is using US dollars to move everything around. Like, Polymarket's getting there. I think Kalshi, in many ways is kicking Polymarket's ass. And I think the big part is
more
Yeah, they were market footprint, but also they've got a first mover advantage right now, whereas Polymarket's kind of getting crushed on
Man, that's true.
The regulatory.
Yeah, because some people forget Kalshi was actually founded and funded in 2018, and they used a lot of that VC money to get licenses, build a product, get market footprint, I guess. And then Polymarket came out 2 years after. They got millions in volume, and that's how they were funded by VCs and Peter Thiel Fund, you name it. So now it's kind of like blue versus green, and to some capacity.
Yep.
I want to bet on, if I had to pick a winner, it might be Kalshi. And I used to be a big Polymarket fan because I just love the story that Shane Copeland, the founder of Polymarket, went through. He was like, he dropped out of NYU, he built Polymarket, and then, this was before vibe coding was a thing. So real skill on his end. And then he only scaled up. And he also cold emailed people for money saying, no, dude, this is going to be the next big thing. And he was right. Despite all that, I would still bet on Kalshi because statistically they were backed by YC. YC has the most unicorns out of any startup, which is already rare in of itself. They have the affluence, the connections, the market footprint. They have all of the regulatory requirements. I don't think they've ever been sued by the SEC. I could be wrong there, but the fact that, they haven't gone, in trouble as openly as at least Polymarket, because Polymarket, again, was rated by the FBI. I would bet on Kalshi at the end of the day. They also have two founders.
I also think Kalshi, like they when Polymarket was trying to sort everything out, they were, advertising to no end. Robinhood is the rails for Robinhood predictions is on the rails of Kalshi. Polymarket's inking a bunch of deals. I think it was Polymarket that inked a deal with the MLS. Kalshi's doing the same thing. I think that there's a lot of problems with prediction markets and sports betting specifically, and most of what these platforms are turning into is a loophole for sports betting. And I don't really love that. I do think that the prediction markets are pretty cool. I think, they do predict things that are out there that normally, where money flows is the truth. But overall, I think, the net is there's a lot of fear in the market right now. We're seeing that out there, but like apps that, traditionally aren't crypto are becoming crypto in a very sneaky way. Look at Kalshi, they're, saying USDC, they're saying, hey, no fee there, like settlements faster, all of that, Cash App with with Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, they're pushing on that. And then Gus. Hey, Gus. Sorry. My dog's over here licking his paw like an idiot.
I feel that. My dog comes and goes too.
I know. But I think the fact is more things are finally adopting crypto. We didn't see that adoption in 2022. We didn't see people like integrated into there. And I think the reason AI is becoming so mainstream is every single app out there has a AI component to it. And as we see more and more things adopt crypto, that is when I believe we'll see further, adoption. As soon as you can buy Bitcoin and, Bank of America account, and you have a USDC and a US dollar, bank account that's interchangeable, I think that's when we'll do it. We need the Clarity Act. We need all of that. Market sentiment's scary for most people. But again, the perception is reality. And they think that the market's bad when the market is in many ways good. And over time, I think we're going to see the good kind of prosper, even though, you can never predict what Trump's going to do. Like you just don't know what he wants. And I think that's some of the fear that's happening. But the Trump folks, the families in crypto really heavily. And I think that's a good sign overall that they're, willing to stake their wealth in that, whether you like them or not. Like there's very good signs because they are mining Bitcoin. They're one of the largest miners out there. So
American Bitcoin, baby.
Yes.
Now, I have mixed feelings about them, but also, without them, we probably wouldn't be where we're at with crypto. So for better, for worse, crypto is going to continue to update the financial system. And there's a lot of good with that. So I'm hopeful. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about for this episode, man.
Yeah,
Do you have
me too.
Any final thoughts for our audience?
Yeah, final thoughts. Obviously, we're a new format, new thing. If you're on YouTube, and you made it this far, thank you. Leave a comment. If you're on a podcast listening, leave a review. Follow us, like us, positive or negative. I think it's really helpful, and it kind of gets us moving up on the charts.
Yes, sir. All right, check out the MintLocke.com website. We want early testers for our product launching next month. So let us know if you want to try it out. Cheers. Thanks, all.